All right, let's talk about something every dog owner thinks they know, the wagging tail. We're going to decode one of the most common and, honestly, most misunderstood signals in the entire animal kingdom.
So let me ask you this. Is a wagging tail always a sign of a happy, friendly dog? I bet you think you know the answer, right? Well, let me tell you, the truth is way more complex and, frankly, a lot more fascinating.
And that brings us right into our first section. We are going to tackle what I like to call the great wagging tail myth. And we're tackling it head on.
I mean, come on, we've all heard it. We've probably all said it. You see a dog's tail just whipping back and forth, and the first thing you think is, "Oh, look how happy he is." It's basically become the universal emoji for a happy dog.
Okay, so what we think is pure joy. The reality is, it's a bit different. A wagging tail is really just a sign of emotional arousal. Now, that could be happy excitement, for sure, but it could just as easily be nervousness or even anxiety. So think of it this way. The wag itself isn't the message. It's more like a flashing light that says, hey, a message is being sent, pay attention.
So, if the wag isn't the whole story, how in the world do we get the rest of it? Good question. Well, that's exactly what this next part is about. We're going to start decoding the tail's very specific language.
And this right here, this is the secret sauce. The key isn't that the tail is wagging. Nope. The real secret is in how it's wagging. This is the moment we stop just looking at our dogs and start actually understanding them. We're becoming interpreters.
And you know what? The translation guide is actually pretty simple. It all boils down to two key things. First, the speed. How fast is that tail going? And second, the position. How high or low is it being held? That's it. Speed and position.
So let's really think about that for a second. A fast wag held way up high, that could be one thing. But a slow, low wag, something totally different. Speed and position. That's basically the grammar of tail speak. Like a really frantic, super fast wag often points to high arousal, and that can easily tip over into stress, not just pure happiness. So really, the best way to think about it is this. A dog's tail is like an emotional speedometer. It's a gauge that tells you what's going on inside. And that gauge, it has a huge range. It goes all the way from woohoo, so excited on one end, to high-stress stuff like nervousness and anxiety on the other. It is definitely not just an on-off switch for happy. Okay, so we've got speed and position down. But wait, even that isn't enough to get the whole story. Not even close. To do that, we have to zoom out and look at the full picture. Because trust me, when it comes to dog body language, context is absolutely everything. And I love this quote, it just nails it. The tail is just one word in a much longer sentence. Think about that. You never try to understand a whole book by just reading one word, right? Of course not. And it's the exact same thing with your dog. The tail is just one little piece of a much bigger communication puzzle. So what are those other words in the sentence? Well, you've got to look beyond the tail. What are the ears doing? Are they pinned back or are they relaxed and forward? How's the body? Is it all stiff and tense or is it loose and kind of wiggly? And what about the face? Is the mouth soft and open or is it pulled back tight? See, all these other signals come together with the tail to spell out that full sentence. And that right there, that's the real key. If you really want to know what your dog is feeling, you can't just fixate on the tail. You've got to learn to read the whole dog. I'm talking from the tip of their wet nose all the way to the tip of that wagging tail. So here's my challenge to you. The very next time you see a dog's tail wagging, I want you to just pause. Look a little closer. Check out the speed, check the position, and then look at the rest of its body. What is that dog truly communicating in that exact moment? What is your dog really saying?